welcome our esteemed speakers, Honorable Justice Hima Kohli, Honorable Justice Rekha Palli, Honorable Justice Pratibha Singh, our learned ASG Manandar Acharya, my panelists Kadambari Puri and Tara Ganju. I welcome all of you. I also welcome the participants and thank you very much for joining us. Well, WIL stands for Women in Law and Litigation, although men are now allowed to join it. And it was actually founded in 2014 under the dynamic and visionary Honorable Justice Hima Kohli, along with Justice Pratibha Singh, who was a then General Secretary. Now she's our patron, and learned ASG, who's our president. Justice Rekha Palli is now our patron, and we have the most dynamic and I would say the force behind the WIL, Tara Ganju and Kadambari Puri, and they are actually the backbone of these webinars. And I must thank them for being behind the scenes all the time, helping us with all the technical issues, all of us. Well, WIL is a platform, as everybody knows, for engaging in enriching discussions on legal issues and contemporary issues. And we have always looked towards the cause of understanding of litigation and for administration of justice. WIL today, I would say, stands for the will to continue and to dispense justice in times of COVID while maintaining physical distancing as well as a very safe environment. The topic today, understanding online court system, is towards that goal. I welcome my esteemed speakers. Honorable Justice Hima Kohli will share in-depth knowledge with us on the online system, and Justice Pratibha Singh will give us a PowerPoint presentation, which will be very helpful to understanding the system. After which Justice Rekha Palli will give her experiences, and Honorable ASG will also share her experiences as a litigant, as the main litigant, I would say, in today's environment. After which Kadambari will share an online system, the way the online system works, and then Tara will be open for all question answers to be put to the various panelists. Now, may I welcome Honorable Justice Hima Kohli to please say and share her knowledge on this issue.
Start by thanking all of you for, in this heat and afternoon time where many of us would be happier taking a siesta, to join us and participate in this webinar on understanding online court system. I hope you're all safe in your respective homes, working, and at the same time taking all the precautions that you're expected to in these days and times. So I'll start with the online court system and say that we all know necessity is the mother of all inventions. So this saying could not be more true in today's circumstances where virtual court has become the new normal. No one could have thought in their wildest of dreams that there will be a time when court hearings will have to be conducted through video conferencing instead of normal open court hearings that we've all lived with from the beginning of our careers till now. Fortunately for us, Delhi High Court, in our court, use of video conferencing had commenced about a year ago. It's not a new system in that sense of the term. In fact, I remember that when I was on the criminal jurisdiction about a year ago, Justice Ori and I had the occasion to link at least 8 departments, which includes, in that time included Union of India, Delhi government, the Delhi police, DCW, as also DLSA, etc., in a matter pertaining to tracing missing children countrywide and reuniting them with their parents. And believe you me, those proceedings went seamlessly and we were very encouraged. It's a different matter that at that time we had never thought that VC hearings would become a normal feature in the future. Of course, we were familiar with e-courts, and we all know that Delhi High Court has several jurisdictions where e-courts have been functioning and very well, and lawyers have adapted to it just as the judges have to a large extent, as in arbitration, as in tax, as in custom matters, and so on and so forth. So coming back to the VC hearings, it is also said that adversity brings the best in a person. So in these days of the lockdown that is caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, our High Court and several High Courts have followed the guidelines of the Supreme Court and started conducting VC hearings since the last week of March 2020 when the lockdown was enforced. Reasons for this is not far to seek. Access to justice, even in these unprecedented times, must not be denied. So, even if the doors of the court complex were closed, the virtual doors have remained open throughout, and several urgent matters have been taken up by the Delhi High Court and the subordinate courts in this duration. For your reference, as on 1st of May, district courts and high courts combined have taken up 12,040 matters collectively. We had initially started with hearing only very urgent matters. Gradually, the criteria was scaled down to urgent matters, and now it has been further relaxed, and matters in almost all jurisdictions are being taken up regularly for hearing. So the benches that had initially started with one division bench and two single judges gradually increased to two division benches and four single judges. And since last week, we have two division benches and six single benches that are functioning contemporaneously. Again, when we started, we were working on alternate days. So it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Since last week, we are working on a daily basis, so 5 days a week. And I'm very happy to share with you that on last Monday, that is on 27th of April, over 100 matters were listed for hearing before different benches. So that says much about how the whole progress has been made for VC hearings. We have also now allowed consent letters from both sides for taking up final hearing matters. Written submissions with relevant case law will be filed, and if the court is inclined, it can conduct VC hearings and hear both sides before reserving orders. Non-urgent and routine matters have been permitted to be emailed for being listed when normalcy is restored. I must share with you that our IT team is working very hard to, at this moment, create that online filing process. And as a tide over, you'll see soon we'll be sharing with you what we will do to permit filing of routine matters which are non-urgent. So, as you can see from what I've said, there have been several challenges that have been thrown our way, and we are trying our best to deal with them and come up with solutions. So each day is a new experience. One of the most important challenges that was relating to training of our court staff for conducting virtual court. The IT team of the court has been working tirelessly, not only to train the court staff to host the virtual court hearings, but also to train us and to come up with many other solutions to problems relating to mentioning cases, relating to filing, relating to listing of cases day in and day out. As they say, practice makes a man perfect. So with practice, we the judges, you the lawyers, and the court staff have adapting to this new normal. And what are the challenges that I have faced in this duration? Let me share with you. I have used the VC platform for both judicial as also administrative work. It has been a learning graph for me, just as it has been for all of us in the legal fraternity. But I must confess, though I'd started with some trepidation, by now I have adapted to this VC hearings rather comfortably. Not like a duck to water, like many of us, but more like a valiant warrior holding the flag of justice and striding into uncharted virtual territories. So, the benefits of VC hearings. VC hearings can no doubt cut the delay in disposing of short matters. It can also make short shrift of the distance. Take my own example. My bench partner, Justice Subramanian Prasad, had to fly off to Chennai immediately after the lockdown to be with his parents. And that was the last flight he caught. I think by midnight, all the flights were cancelled. So when we commenced VC hearings, it was not a challenge. He sat in Chennai in his house, and here I was in Delhi. And it took us no time to link up through internet and conduct virtual court. It was a great experience. VC hearings are also useful when it comes to disposal of matters. In one of the cases which my colleague and I did on the bench, it pertained to termination of pregnancy. The petitioner in that case was 23 weeks pregnant when she approached the court for termination for medical reasons relating to the child, the fetus. So the report of the doctor's team that was constituted by the court at AIMS was with us, we had some questions to ask. It was a very sensitive matter. So we requested the admin to link us with the petitioner and her husband for us to speak to them personally, and it was done. After speaking to them, we felt there were certain questions that we wanted answers to from the medical team. And in a jiffy, we just disconnected, and in a very short time, the lawyer said the head of that team that was constituted for giving the medical report was available. We connected with her, we linked her in, sought clarifications on all medical aspects that were engaging us, and after that, we took a quick decision without wasting any time. So the draft orders of day-to-day matters are exchanged between me from here to my colleague in Chennai. We talk to each other and we finalize them. And by the next day, at best 24 hours, ordinarily, the judgment or the order is uploaded on the High Court website. Similarly, when it came to COVID-related PILs, which we all know we have been inundated, there has been a barrage of COVID-related PILs that have come our way, not only our way, but many other courts, and mainly the Supreme Court. So we found that wherever there were questions to be asked, we posed them to counsel for the respondents, primarily the respondents in such cases, as you all know, are departments, government agencies, etc. And they don't have ready instructions on some aspects, and naturally, because they're on advance notice, but not necessarily with all instructions. But those matters were simply passed over, which means what? In simple language, the parties were delinked, they got instructions, and they were again linked by the court master who was hosting the meeting, and the counsels were ready with instructions. And we disposed of those matters on the very same day. When it comes to conferring with the bench partner, if I'm in a DV take, for example, during the course of the arguments, and what do? We don't want it to be shared with the lawyer or the litigant who's there and linked with us. The administrator or the host of the meeting is requested to place all the other parties in the chat room or the lobby and give us the required privacy for a few minutes for us to confer with each other and then bring the parties back on board. So how simple is this? It could be simpler than that. So however complicated it may seem to all of us, believe you me, if you have a smartphone, an iPhone, an Android, forget about a laptop or a tab or a desktop, you will be able to do it. It's just that we need to support each other through these times. Yet another important feature of the VC hearing is that it ensures the social distancing. We all talk about social distancing at length. So how do we do it here? The judges are functioning from their home office. So are the lawyers and the litigants. Those of the court staff who can function from their home are doing that. Those who can't, they come to the court complex, but their numbers have been reduced to a very bare minimum. So take for example, whether it is a DV or a single bench, we don't let more than 3 officers of that judge to take the meeting through the court hearing while sitting in court. The backup officials, as in listing and filing branches, are also limited to avoid any overcrowding in the court complex. Yes, of course, they're working doubly hard because without their support, without the support of the IT team, we cannot be in a position to conduct so many matters that we are. And I give full thanks to them. So those of us who have been conducting e-courts don't require physical files. All the relevant material is set on a PDF format after bookmarking to the judge through an email. Even the steno can operate from his own residence or this court complex. He doesn't need to come down to the judge to take dictation. The daily orders are emailed for correction, posted back, finalized, and uploaded within 24 hours. We have now started, even the law researchers are permitted to join the hearings and assist the judges wherever it is required to curtail the delay. Coming to the disadvantages of VC, which I must say, I will not hesitate in saying that this can work mostly for short matters. Lengthy arguments, recording of evidence, etc. through VC will certainly pose several problems. I may also share with you the VC rules are in place. It's a matter of time. They've been public domain. They will guide us all on how VC hearings are to be conducted over a period of time. So, while VC hearings can never be a substitute for open court hearings, which has been traditional, they can only supplement them, to my mind, at best. At the same time, technology has come very handy to aid us in overcoming these testing times. And we cannot make small of this technology of digital courts. Coming back next to the administrative work, I must say that the VC hearings have gone a long way in cutting delay and building bridges. In this lockdown phase, we have had a full court meeting. We have had administrative committee meetings under the leadership of our Chief Justice. We have had meetings of the committee constituted for preparation of graded action plan to reopen courts. The Chief Justice has conducted VC meetings with all the district judges to take updates, with the registrars, with the judicial officers. As the chairperson of the high-powered committee constituted by the Delhi government on the direction of the Supreme Court for taking steps to decongest the jails in Delhi to prevent the spread of COVID-19, I have conducted meetings with the members of the committee on several occasions. And besides that, I've also taken meetings with the family court judges so as to establish a norm on how family courts will soon open up. I think that is by now public domain. You all would be aware of it. It takes effect from Monday. So several webinars like the present one, where as on date, I can see 195 participants on board, are happening without exception. As I understand, there are a lot of them back-to-back happening almost daily. So how are they happening? It's thanks to this new flavor of the season, VC. To conclude, in the present unprecedented times, we have made forays into a new technology-driven world, and to my mind, lived up to the challenge thrown our way. Even after normalcy is restored, we will have to adapt to the online court system that will be incorporated within the current court processes in such a manner that access to justice remains seamless and in the reach of the last person waiting in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Kohli. And I think that you use the right word, warriors we are. And I really thank you for this extensive insight in the working of the online court system. May I now request Justice Pratibha Singh to share her views and her very insightful PowerPoint presentation.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Justice Hema Kohli, thank you so much for that comprehensive presentation on both the judicial and the administrative work which has been done through video conferencing. I must say that she's the only one who can give you the experience of the administrative side, because I'm sure both Rekha ji and me have done mostly only the judicial work. So it's been a great pleasure to be joining Will again. The last session was with Rebecca, I recall, on cross-examination and that session which we had. And, you know, going back to Will itself, I really need to introduce Will and kind of have some fond memories of how we inaugurated Will with Justice Rohini and Justice Ranjana Desai, who was a sitting judge of the Supreme Court at that time. It was a very well-attended inauguration with more than 350 lady lawyers participating. And so I was just recalling that right now when Justice Kohli was speaking. It's very good to see Will being so active and the new office bearers, everybody being so enthusiastic and energetic. And it's my pleasure to join you all today. I would like to just make a small PowerPoint presentation on what has happened, what is the experience. You know, it's very easy to simply say a VC hearing. A court has to undertake a large amount of effort in putting a VC hearing together. And right from the administration till the court staff, till the judge, till the steno, till the court master, everybody has to do a lot of work in putting the hearing together. And if I may request Chetanji from the IT department, who is helping us today, to start the presentation. The purpose is to show you the various steps which are required to be taken during a VC hearing and what goes into conducting a VC hearing for a judge on any particular day. So next slide. As you all know, we had the lockdown from 23rd of March 2020, and Justice Kohli has already informed you the manner in which Delhi High Court has been functioning since inception, alternate days, and recently we've started sitting every day. Next slide. So the initial filing, go back please. The initial filing is through email, and when the email is received by the High Court registry, the IT department gets a copy of that email, and parallelly the matter is cleared for listing by the listing staff. So the advance copies are checked, the affidavit attestation is dispensed with during this period, email addresses of all parties are taken, and then most of the procedural compliances are kind of exempt during this period. So once the filing department clears the matter for listing, the list is prepared, the listing section emails the list to the courtmaster. The courtmaster's work begins at that time. The courtmaster then immediately contacts all counsels. As you may be aware, I'm sure he's troubling everybody. Each of our courtmasters must be troubling the counsels. So the counsels have to give them an assessment of whether it's an application which is listed, whether it's a longish hearing, a shortish hearing. Normally, the matters require about 15 to 20 minute hearing slots. Next slide. The courtmaster also finds out from the lawyer as to whether there's any senior counsel who's going to be coming. In one or two matters, I recall, some litigants wanted to attend the hearing. So the litigant's email address was also provided to the courtmaster. Then after collecting all the email addresses, the courtmaster then finalizes as to who is the steno who will be available and the law researcher who is available. So you can imagine for every matter, the number of emails which have to be sent and collected is about 10 to 15. Even if you take 3 matters, 3 lawyers, 1 or 2 senior counsels, the LR, the steno, and the judge. And in some cases, the PS was to upload the order. So about 10 to 12 emails have to be, email addresses have to be added. And then the email is sent out by the courtmaster. He fixes the slots on the basis of the time which is going to be consumed by each matter. And everyone gets an email of that. Parallelly, the IT department, which has received the email, the soft copy of the electronic record, prepares a portfolio, and the entire portfolio is then emailed to the courtmaster and to the judge. Next slide. So on the day of hearing, we have the judge who assembles in robes, and at least in Delhi, we've had the good experience of almost all lawyers participating in formal clothes. Everyone is dressed well. And in 1 or 2 cases, at least I saw the lawyer standing up in front of the monitor when the case was called. So we said, no, there's no need for the lawyer to stand up. So the courtmaster then dials in, and case by case, he then joins the counsels into the meeting, and on spot the order is dictated. But the steno could be in the judge's residence or at his own residence. The order is finalized by email, and then it is signed by the judge, and at the end of the day, or maybe by the next morning, the private secretary then uploads the order on the High Court website. So it is a longish process. For every matter, this entire system has to be smooth and running, and internet connectivity is absolutely essential. Sometimes we do have some kind of a glitch because lawyers and litigants may not have the same kind of internet connectivity. So just to show you a few slides from here on, next slide. Chetanji, next slide. Yes, this is a standard email which is sent out to each of the participants. If you see on the right side, the different slots are there, 2:30, 2:35, 2:40. These were small applications, and then 3 p.m., then 3:15 p.m. So this was on one particular day. This is how an email looks. You can automatically add it to your Google Calendar and then join the meeting. Next slide. For those who have an issue joining the WebEx platform, you can even join by telephone or by any of the Microsoft capable software. So these are the three options that are available in the Delhi High Court. You either have the WebEx platform or the phone platform or the Microsoft platform. Next slide. So this is how we receive our pastry on a daily basis. This was a day when I had 3 matters. So all the 3 portfolios are emailed to the judge. Next slide. Every portfolio you will see have 6 to 7 folders. It has the order folder, the pleading folder, the application folder. The office noting folder has the main office notings by the in the green sheet by the dealing assistant. Then the documents folder. Then if there are any witness depositions, that's in the 6th folder. And then miscellaneous and disposed of IEs go in the last folder. Next slide. The document folder is further subdivided into plaintiff and defendants folder. So this electronic record is available to the judge for conducting the VC hearing. Next slide. As judges, we have the facility, if your computer permits it, to do a split screen. So you can have one window where the meeting is being conducted and the other window where the pleading can be opened. So that way the judge is facing the monitor all along and you can see the lawyers all the time whenever the lawyers are arguing. Next slide. In one hearing, there was a document which was to be shared by a lawyer. That document could be shared immediately through the WebEx platform by share screen, and that was shared by the lawyer. And then you can see this is how the screen looks at that time. Pleadings on the left side, the shared document, and then the thumbnails of all the lawyers who are participating in the video conference. Next slide. So I think that my experience is that the system is quite easy to operate. A judge can also host the meeting. On one occasion, the court master found some internet glitch at his residence. So I hosted the video conference myself. The actual hearings are quite fast and seamless. Lawyers are very cooperative. I know that usually we can't keep lawyers from speaking, but on VC hearings, we can mute them, which is a very convenient facility for judges. Next slide. So VC is also good time management. There have been some occasions where lawyers have had to wait because a particular matter has overshot its time period. But most of the occasions, the slots which are fixed are adhered to. Everybody's brief and the order is dictated then and there. So the lawyer can just dial in from the comfort of his residence or his or her residence or the office, and they don't need to wait in court the whole day for the matter to be taken up. But as I say, you know, I feel that video conferencing does have a little bit of disadvantages. I'll come to that in a minute. Next slide. So I think the way forward would be to allow live streaming of court proceedings so that litigants can join the video conferencing by maybe allotting them some usernames and passwords. And it would be very nice if portfolios can be accessed, access can be given to lawyers. I think we are figuring it out at this point because if the lawyer has the same portfolio, it makes it very easy during the hearings as well. And within courtrooms, the IT department is working towards fixing monitors on the side of the plaintiff and the defendant so that the monitor is making the lawyer's life easier. They can access the portfolio right then and there in the court. Sharing of judgments and sharing of documents can be done electronically. And even after, you know, when we have physical courts, if the monitor is there, if you bring your documents or your pen drive for the judgments, instead of giving compilations, we can save a lot of paper and we can have all of this done electronically. So VC hearings are going to stay and we can use partial VCs even when we are physically in court. We miss the fact that we can't meet our judges and our colleagues. We miss our lunches in the Delhi High Court lounge and our teas and our committee meetings. But, you know, during COVID, we all have to live up to this emergency and we all have to recalibrate ourselves. So I can only say, last slide please, that going forward, VC hearings would be a very big use in an amalgamated form. And they've made all old and young judges understand the inner workings of computers. And it's a pleasure to have been here. Thank you for inviting me today.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Pratibha Singh, for that detailed PowerPoint presentation. I think we have learned a great deal from it. and we have all re-evolved ourselves in terms of technology and understanding. I think I loved the cartoon at the end. I think we've all become young during these times because we have geared up to all the technological innovations which we were lazy earlier. I may now welcome Honorable Justice Rekha Palli to share her experience on video conferencing. Honorable Justice.
A very good afternoon to everyone. And Justice Kohli, thank you so much for the detailed report card of how the Delhi High Court has been doing the video conferencing. And Justice Pratibha Singh, I must thank for the exhaustive, comprehensive procedure, the manner in which she has explained it, so that now I think newcomers will also know what is to be done. Now, in these difficult times, when we are all mostly at home, pondering what to do, some of us I know are cooking, doing something. Will has taken this extraordinary initiative of holding webinars, which not only help to enrich ourselves, but also give us an opportunity to actually connect with each other, even though virtually. Believe me, it's a real pleasure to interact with all of you, even if it's virtual. There cannot be a greater high than being amongst people whom you have known, loved, and cared for. So that I must thank Will for that. And as Justice Pratibha Singh has already explained, Will has proved to be a unique platform. Though I was not really a part of it, I was only an outsider, but I have attended the inaugural Pratibha. I remember doing. So Will has really proved to be a unique platform, motivating young budding lawyers and especially young girls. So, which is very evident that every roster you go, you see young beaming girls, very confident girls walking into court. So I'm so happy that Will has actually brought them into litigation. Earlier, times when we joined the profession, it was thought it's not good enough for women. You will not be able to practice. Anyway, now coming to the topic. See, what happened was, as we all know, when the lockdown was announced, the courts had to be closed. But the Delhi High Court was not going to do it. It knew that judicial delivery system could not just be halted. So under the leadership of Justice Hima Kohli, I must tell all of you, she's really played a role, along with the IT committee, of which Justice Pratibha Singh is a very, very important part. They said, no, we will start video conferencing and we will start the court. We did not halt even for one day. No doubt, when we started, I mean, I can say about myself, I don't know about we were all very apprehensive. It was a new system for all of us, which we would have never thought in the ordinary days that we can do this. We were apprehensive, but believe me, the very first day when we started, with the sophisticated laptops and even the smart iPhones, we realized it was very simple. It was actually simpler than even, as she said, you can mute a lawyer. So we found it to be, there were some hiccups, but those were a part of learning. Now, I must share this, that when I conducted hearings in the first week of April, most of the lawyers who were appearing were from big law firms or the senior advocates. I believe the other lawyers were a little apprehensive. They thought they wanted to see how the system is working. But yesterday, when I conducted hearings, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see lawyers making submission with so much ease from their small, tiny office homes. I mean, there were so many lawyers appearing in criminal bail matters from such tiny, and a lot of them doing even from the phones. That shows that the confidence now the lawyers have on the system. It's not as if it is now time that the systems appears to have evolved. As it is always said, that the bench is fed by the bar. If the standard of the bar rises, the bench, obviously you will have better assistance, better judgments. So in the same way, in the in the video conferencing hearings, what I found was that now more and more lawyers are joining in. They are coming forward. They are feeling very confident, and they are realizing it is nothing so difficult. It's not something which a common person with just bare knowledge. After all, we've all been using our phones for WhatsApp and emails for ages now. It's fine. So now, as I said yesterday, when there were 15 matters, it was so comfortable. It went on very smoothly, and that too when my stenographer had joined me from Karnal. There was no hitch, as Justice Pratibha Singh and Justice Hima Kohli have explained. Passovers were very convenient. You could just switch off go out the meeting. They would come back with instructions. After the orders were dictated in open court, Anybody had an issue, they would point out. There was total 100% cooperation, ma'am. This is for this, I'm conveying it for you also so that you know. Lawyers were feeling very free to communicate. In fact, one lawyer, I remember asking him what is, I could not hear him, so I had to signal that I can't hear. Ultimately, he understood and he said, I'm sorry, I'm doing this for the first time, but now I will do it. Every matter, any client comes, I will say I'm willing to do it. So this is the cooperation we are getting from the bar. And I must say that the way it has proved, the way video conferencing has proved to be successful in our High Court is something to be imbibed by other High Courts also across the country. So and another thing, the satisfaction which you get, like matters like medical college admission, bail matters, and even matters like monetary matters, when you give them an order or decide their matter, the satisfaction, because as clients were also joining in some cases, was immense. They could feel that despite the lockdown, despite a lot of things being closed, our courts are working. Now, I hope I have motivated some of you at least to join in this. Like now to conclude that, I hope, like all of you, that this lockdown ends at the earliest. But I also, and we come back to our normal life, but I also really hope that after this testing time is over, we are able to integrate the video conferencing in our regular judicial system. Maybe not for all matters. There are some shortcomings which we all know can't, but there are a lot of matters where we will be able to use video conferencing. And I sincerely hope all of you will keep cooperating and ensure that this video conferencing, we don't forget after this this lockdown is over. And with that, I will thank all of you and keep up your high spirits. And I hope people who are attending the conference, we will see more of them in the matters to come, in the weeks to come. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you, Justice Palli, for such a motivational for all lawyers to join the video conferencing. And I think if we will, we can. And I must thank Justice Hema Kohli for such a vision that Will would have come to this stage, that we would actually be pioneers. We actually leaders in pointing out how video conferencing should be conducted. And it is thank you so much, Justice Kohli, for motivating us to do this webinar on this particular topic, because that was the need and the call of the day. May I now request our learned ASG to speak from the litigant's point of view as to how her experience has been with respect to the video conferences. Thank you so much.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Justice Kohli, Justice Palli, Justice Pratibha. It feels very good to be amongst all of you, our iconic members of the will and our judges, our enthusiastic members Manisha Dee, Tara Ganju and Kadambari Puri, and all of you whom I can't see but who have taken out time to be part of this wills webinar. And yes, I do agree with Manisha. This is a very, very forward-looking topic that we chose for this afternoon's discussion. It's very useful to the lawyers who are appearing in VC hearings every day. These, I would say, are the extraordinary times, very surreal times. Who would have thought that we would spend almost a year and a month and a half locked down in our homes? But as Justice Palli said, courts can't be closed. And yes, not Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court can never be closed. So that this court, our High Court, rose up to its reputation of tech-savvy, proactive, highly professional, and solution-oriented court. Since it's my High Court, I would call it a pioneer High Court in India. And I don't think I'm saying it without any reasons. And I'm amazed by the energy and the vision of our High Court, and especially Justice Kohli, who has been at the forefront of it, of establishing this seamless system through which we are being able to argue our matters day after day, not one or two a day. Today also on a Saturday, I have argued a matter. Yesterday, I argued around 5 matters. I have argued matters at 5:30. And on one day, one of the judges was ready to hear me at 7, because it related to the mortal remains of somebody. So the sensitivity, the proactivity, the tech savviness, this Honorable Court has shown. And now Justice Valli has told us, under the leadership of Honorable Justice Kohli and IT committee of which Justice Pratibha Singh is also a part, it really is a matter of proud. Now, Moz, I must come to these video conferencing. My Lord, we are so used to saying it that it always comes. So now we must come to the video conferencing hearings. Video conferencing hearings, I would start by saying it was a very prudent decision to choose Cisco WebEx as the system through which we will be doing our video conference. I had never used this system ever before, but I found that it's a very, very helpful, easy to operate system. It has various options, various provisions to mute, as Justice Valli mentioned, provisions to screen share, provisions to switch off the audio and video both. The quality of audio and video is very good. People are able to argue for long, and it doesn't disconnect also. I have not noticed glitches in the system. I have been arguing matters every day since 9th. On 9th of April, I had argued my first matter. It was a bank guarantee matter. I had a little apprehension, but the matter went on very effectively, seamlessly. There were 4 lawyers. All 4 of us argued. And since then, I have argued so many that I have lost count. Every day, when I look at the list, I get amazed that I'm at item 12 or item 13. I just can't believe it. This is not a physical hearing. We are talking about video hearings, video conferencing hearings. So I get amazed that you can be at item 13 or 14. And as an ASG, since during the COVID times, various policy issues have come up, various issues relating to bank guarantees have come up, various issues relating to commercial matters have come up, minings, etc. So many a times I've had to take passovers. Those have happened very seamlessly. Now, how do I do it? I used an app called Liquid Text. So I have this app called Liquid Text, and that app is on my iPad. And on my iPad is the entire text of the case that I'm going to argue. I use 2 machines. One is my Mac, on which I can be seen, through which I take part in the VC hearings. And another is my iPad, on which I have this app called Liquid Text. Liquid Text I found is a very good app. So in this app, you can have a side note bar on which you can make notes. And on the left side is your text. So since we lawyers are when we are reading, we really like to highlight and then flag. And then I also like to note down what will I point to the court, what will I contest, which is the issue that I'll contest. So all that I like writing with the hashtag on my. So when initially I started arguing, I was a little apprehensive without all those flags, without all that writing and highlighting. How will I argue? How will I navigate 200, 300, 400 pages? How will I move from 2 to 300 and then come back seamlessly to it? I didn't want to take the time of the court from moving on from one page to another. So this Liquid Text really helped me. When I'm reading, I highlight. And when I'm highlighting with my iPencil, given with my iPad, I just drag whatever flag that I want to bring to the notice of the other side or to the court while I'm arguing. So when I drag, it has a beautiful thread which shows, just like a kite. And then it goes to the note bar, and where there is a dot which is formed. And there I write with my pencil that order dated so-and-so or application number so-and-so. So then when I'm arguing, or a writ petition, prayer at page number so-and-so. So all there are tiny dots on my notepad. And then when I'm arguing, I don't have to go on navigating the pages. If I want to show the prayer, I just put my pencil on that dot and that page opens. And similarly, all other pages open. So you can try, those of the lawyers who are listening to me can try using this app called Liquid Text. And it's very easy to use. It helps you navigate. There is a back button on it. So suppose you were showing to the court some particular page, and then the court asked you a question and you had to go to some other page, but you still want to come back to where you were earlier. So you just press the back button and you can come back. So navigation is very easy. Flagging is very easy. Highlighting is very easy. This app is amazing. It is very useful. Another thing that I really liked about Syska, Syska WebEx app through which the VCs are conducted is the screen sharing. So keep all the documents. Sometimes you are appearing on the advance notice and the other side has not brought all those orders. They have not annexed it with the writ petition, but you would still like to show them. So normally what I do is I ask the court master if the court is comfortable, then in advance I send them by email to the court master so that he can show it to the court. But now increasingly, this I did in the beginning, but increasingly now we keep all that we want to show to the court, but which is not the part of the petition or other documents filed or the court record. We keep it on the desktop. And the moment we have to show it, we do the screen share. But all lawyers will require 2 machines for it. Screen sharing I found is a very, very good system. Court can see it, you can see it, other sides can see it. And it's very easy to share the documents that way and argue. So I would say that with these 2 apps, I have found my hearings very, very effective and easy. Next, I have really found the patience of the judges very amazing, because I do realize that our arguments sometimes become longer because of the video conferencing. The time taken becomes a little more. But I'm amazed in all the matters that I've argued. The judges have been so kind and patient, and even the other side. And then I will be really failing if I don't mention the court masters. I am really amazed by their service. I mean, in one matter, if there are 4 people, 4 parties, 4 of them, their juniors, keep calling the court masters. Is this matter over? When will our matter reach up? Sometimes I think in each matter, the court master must be receiving calls. Maybe 4 parties are there, 16 times maybe. Court masters have been very diligent in calling us up also and telling that now you are in the next matter, so be ready. And the next matter is going to reach, the court is dictating the order. So this whole camaraderie that has been created through video conferencing, in which at the helm of the affairs is the court, the judges who have established these systems, the bar who has also risen up to the challenge and has, in fact, we welcome it. We would say that we are thankful for it and we welcome it. And also the court staff. So the system has been really seamless. Another thing is on the administrative side, as an ASG, I also have the responsibility of marking the matters. So the matters are being through the system which has been set up by the court under the leadership of Justice Kohli and our IT committee, Justice Pratibha Singh and other members and other judges. The pleadings are now, whatever has to be filed, all filing is taking place through the email. Once the registrar concerned receives the email, then he shares that email with our litigation head and the email goes there. He also makes it sure that the email has been shared with the litigation head and we have an advance notice. And then my litigation head calls me and then I mark it to all my standing counsels. And then all those video conferences take place with the officials of the government and the standing counsels. But never have I felt that it is difficult. One more thing that I really liked about video conferencing is that we are not getting endless pages photocopied, the documents that we wanted to share with the court, the documents that we wanted to rely upon. It's very, very environment friendly. I have done various cases. I've done Section 9, I've done bank guarantees, I've done preventive detention matters, I've done bails, I have done writ petitions. However, I must say, I don't know in coming times if it continues, maybe we will evolve, but I really do not know whether how effective will the hearing will be if it is a long final hearing. Suppose it's a Section 34 or a Section 37 we are arguing, where we have 10 volumes or 12 volumes, that only times will tell. Right now, I would say that I have some apprehensions. Maybe with times we will evolve. Then the next thing that I would like to say is that sometimes that is for the honorable judges to say, but I do feel that these hearings are more taxing for the judges who are hearing the matters. This is my own apprehension. I feel that it could become more taxing for the judges. In the court, it is more swift. And as a lawyer, I feel the thrill of standing in the court and arguing my matter, where I can watch the body language of my colleagues who have to answer me. I can look at them through, sides as to what is their reaction when I'm reading a particular judgment or showing a particular document to the court. All those factors are very necessary for a counsel when he or she is arguing. So that we miss on the video conferencing. But in these worrying and extraordinary times, what we have done is more than enough. Our court has really stood up. I will borrow the words of Honorable Justice Kohli and Honorable Justice Palli, that we've been pioneer in this. Yes, I agree. We have been pioneer in this. The effective and the seamless hearings have been conducted in our court. And when the courts open, then I would like to see that video conferencing continues. Maybe in some matters, on some days, at least we don't get judgments photocopied, pages and pages, reams and reams of papers, photocopying resources. It's a very eco-friendly system. When we all were growing up as lawyers, we used to give a list of books and the courtmaster used to take out the books. But now we get photocopies done. And I only, in my chamber, I know because of the kind of work that I do, that sometimes I feel very bad as to how much paper goes into just the judgments and how resources also, photocopying also. So at least on reading the judgments, we can continue. Sometimes where it is convenient to the court, to the other sides, wherever short VC hearings, if it is convenient to everybody, they can take place. In my VC hearings, I have opposed Mr. Chaudhary almost on everyday basis. He is sitting in Chandigarh and I am in Delhi. I have opposed lawyers in Bombay. So those have been very good experiences. And from the platform of the will, I would like to thank our iconic members who are judges also, 3 of them, and our 2 young, very enthusiastic members, Tara Ganju and Kadambari, who are the force behind this webinar. Manisha Dheer, who's been there with us right from the day one. It's very nice to connect with all of you. From this platform, I would like to thank Honorable Justice Kohli for establishing this system, our Honorable Chief Justice, our other judges, Justice Palli, Justice Pratibha Singh, our courtmasters, and other staff who have been present. My heartfelt thanks to them. They have risen up to the demands of times. I will also like to thank my standing counsels and other junior associates who have been working despite these problems, and we've been able to argue our matters. And it was very nice being with all of you and those whom I can't see today, but I can feel your energy. All those who are attending, women and men, thank you. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you so much for sharing your detailed experiences and giving us practical tips how to engage in video conferencing. I think Delhi has been one of the courts which has always led from the front. And even during COVID times, the most landmark judgments have come from Delhi courts. And I congratulate Justice Kohli for establishing such a wonderful system. And I agree with Maninderji that Cisco and other tools are great means of video conferencing. May I now ask Kadambari to share a video on the online system, which will give us a detailed presentation of how we should file our matters so that it's easier for the courts to take up the hearings. Thank you, Kadambari.
Yes, I have unmuted myself. I think this is something we have to get used to. I'll begin by saying that we are very, very thankful, all of us, to our learned, esteemed speakers for giving us very valuable insights into how the court system works, the online processes, and so on and so forth. It was a nudge from Honorable Ms. Justice Hema Kohli ma'am, who, in fact, more than a nudge, she told us that this was what was really required, because we need the entire legal fraternity to get used to this online system. And much as we were inclined to use a easier app like Zoom or some app like that to even hold this webinar, we were finally we decided. In fact, it was her who told us, no, this is we have to make that shift to the official platform, which is more secure, and which sometimes may take some time to understand and navigate, as we found out. But we are so glad that we were ourselves able to download all the required applications and so on and so forth. And I think we got so much help from the registry when we were preparing this video. Now, this video has been prepared, and Honorable Ms. Justice Pratibha Singh has given such a detailed presentation. My purpose was to, our purpose, the team, the Will team, wanted to have a video whereby a person, any lawyer who would want to, even think about filing or how to go about different processes, would just have a very nice, illustrative, ready referencer instead of understanding the procedures in a text form. So we decided to have a video, an illustrative video, which you could pause, which you could access to even access the links, which you could access to understand different stages in a very user-friendly manner. I would request Chetanji, who has really helped us, conducting the entire webinar. Chetanji, could you please switch on the video, start the video?
Thank you so much, Kadambari. Now, may I request Tara to take up the question and answers?
Sure, but I just wanted to tell the audience, because some of them could not see or hear So I just wanted to tell them that we will be circulating this video separately also, so that, yes, we will make the video available, because I can see some of the queries saying that the video should be made available. We'll circulate it extensively, and you can access the WIL website. Also, the video will be placed there as well as individually circulated. Thank you.
Tara, may I now request you to take up the question answers, please?
Thank you once again to all our honorable judges and Ms. Virendra Acharya for your insights, valuable insights, observations, and inputs. I'm sure all the participants have hugely benefited from this. From all of this, especially the talk about the screen sharing and the apps and how to go about this, like we were been saying. Now, one of the things Kadambari just pointed out, which is coming up on the chat as well as on the question answers, is the fact that can we have a Justice Pratibha Singh's slide presentation if we can share it with the audience or the participants. So subject to whatever everybody says, we would take that up. If that's all right with Justice Singh as well. Now, ma'am, where I would start, ma'am, by asking everybody to put on their audio, and I'll just read out the questions one by one. The first question here is from somebody called Shalini Nair, and she says, "Thank you for the presentation. Just wanted to understand the procedure which a respondent needs to undertake to file its reply or counter affidavit." Ma'am, I think this can be answered by any of us.
You can request Pratibha to answer this. Pratibha, just unmute yourself.
The procedure which the respondent needs to undertake to file a reply or a counter. This is assuming once
The procedure would be that if the respondent appears during the hearing and seeks time and justifies it to the judge that he requires time to file a reply, I think it will have to be done in the hearing itself. And he can give an advance intimation to the courtmaster that I will be seeking time to file a reply.
That's good enough, but I can also say that if the matter is adjourned for a short date, then in the interim, on an email, the reply can be filed with advance copy to the other side. There is no problem. We are being relaxed. We can even take the counter on record on an email forwarded right away to the courtmaster, who in turn forwards it the same to us. So
Yes.
the reply part is taken care of.
Yes, ma'am.
So I hope it satisfies the question raised by Abhishek.
I recall in one case where the ASG was appearing, there was an application filed asking for various reliefs. So she wanted time to file a reply. So some part of the relief was granted, but for the remaining part, reply was sought. Even that happens on a large number.
Yes. And ma'am, I would like to add on this, like yesterday there was a matter where I wanted the nominal roll. Day before I asked for the nominal roll, the Tihar jail authorities were very prompt and they did send the reply by the nominal roll came through email and I could actually see it. So the replies also will come in the same email.
Right.
Within a day they were able to send it. In fact, I really appreciated the manner in which they did it.
Right. Tara, next.
Ma'am, there's a few questions about the district court, the procedure in the district court.
Can I answer them since I can see the
Yes.
question on the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah,
So one is by Abhishek Rai, who says, what would be the fate of the district courts in Delhi, given that the majority of the files are in physical form, and also there is not enough infrastructure as of now when compared to the Honorable High Court. And there's another question on district courts being applicable in trial courts also. However, ma'am, I think we all know they are the VC being applicable in district court, trial
Yes.
court.
Yes.
So, ma'am, he's asking about, I'll just repeat if you haven't.
No, I have understood the question. I'm reading it too. Abhishek, let us not forget that this is a system which will not be permanent, in the sense it's not as if courts are not coming back to normal. So when we talk of district courts having majority files in physical form, we have made arrangements for the ease of lawyers, not only in the district court, each district court, but also the High Court, to arrange a VC room. The lawyers go and sit and conduct their matters through VC with the judge. So those who are not comfortable or do not have the wherewithal or the facility to be able to conduct a VC hearing on any instrument that he or she may have at his residence, they can always come. There is a designated room, not only High Court, but all district courts, I repeat, where there are designated rooms, the councils can go there and do a VC hearing. There are also occasions where that is not possible, then physical hearings are being conducted on maintaining social distancing. So the norm of social distancing has to be adhered to even in that time. So it is not as if the infrastructure is short. You'll be surprised to hear online filing of commercial cases is on in district courts for a while and has yet to take off in the High Court. They're a step ahead of us. This I came to know because recently when family courts matters were to be activated and the family courts restarted, we have requested the same online system to be followed for family court filing. So in many ways, the district court is a bit ahead of us insofar as the CIS system is concerned. But all the same, we are factoring in all kind of lawyers with all kind of abilities, just as we have problems learning and getting along, they do too. So we are factoring that in. Be rest assured, merely because physical files are being filed presently, doesn't mean matters are not being taken up. They are being taken up. It's a different matter that if they are become pending matters, whether they will be taken up physically or they'll have to be converted into PDF format. That's a secondary thing. Right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from one of our lawyers called Rishi Chanda. Says, just a humble suggestion. Can we start the display board by allocating notional court numbers to each bench sitting on a particular day? Since at some times we do not get connected to the matter at a particular time and the court master calls us time. The call has to be made to the court master time and again.
Well, we can factor that in. I'm not sure if it is functioning because as you're saying, Rishi, that it's not functioning. We'll put it to the IT team and full marks to the IT team. They're innovating every day. As I said, the IT team is led by Justice Rajiv Shakhtar. I'll be faltering if I would not acknowledge the work the entire IT committee and the IT team with the registrar, IT and all of them are doing to help us overcome these difficulties. Rishi will put it to them and come up with something.
Lakshya Dhamija wants to first as lead into all the panelists. His question is, in the case of pending matters, if any pleadings or documents are to be filed which are upcoming, then how the e-filing system would work, and in such a situation would the consent of the opposite lawyer be required, or would the court be hearing the matter if it's listed for arguments, even though no response is received from the opposite side? Now, I think this happens quite often when we send emails. We don't actually get an acknowledgement back from an opposite counsel. So I think his question is quite relevant. How do we tackle this?
So when the email bounces back, you know that it's not been served. When the email is served, you come to know there is a service report, assuming he doesn't respond, he or she on the other side. But when we talk of pending matters, Lakshya, keep in mind, we are talking of pending matters which are ripe for final hearing. We are not talking of matters where there will be a situation where you will have to file something. The only thing you will have to do is, once we create a system, that you will file your written submissions with your citations that you propose to rely on up to a X number of pages. I think it is 5 that what we have clarified. And the other side will also have to do it, but only after taking consent from the other side. It has to be a joint request. It cannot be coming from one side without the consent of the other side. So please keep it in mind that it is only on consent and in final argument matters that such a system has been put in place.
Mr. Ravi Mehta wants to know if we need to file or send the power of attorney or wakalatnama of the petitioner at the time of filing a petition.
To be scanned and filed, and later on, when the courts normalize, all the physical filing will be permitted of those documents, where the counsel is also supposed to say that whatever he is filing is a true copy and a scanned copy, and he'll file the physical copy for the court for later. We have simplified it as much as we can.
Nidhi Parashar wants to know, ma'am, how does a junior counsel assist the senior counsel in this new VC system?
That's very easy. Yes. A lovely question. We want you all the young counsels to come and be participating in the video conferencing. It's a pleasure to see you all. Let me share with you in one of the matters of Union of India, the Central Government Standing Council's mic wasn't working, and his junior was there in the VC hearing, and he had to call her and convey the instructions to her, which she communicated to us very comfortably. So you also get a link, just as your senior does. You can work on the same link and open your file and be part of the VC hearings, which is happening, and we are happy to see so many youngsters participating. Believe me,
Also add to this,
yes.
we also keep the phone between the briefing council and the arguing council on all the time.
Yes,
So
quite-
once the matter is being heard by the other side, wherever there is something that needs to be conveyed, so we switch off the video and hear it and then go back.
Absolutely. So that's working very nicely, let me tell you. We hope to see you soon in one of those matters, young lady.
In one case, what happened was the senior counsel and the junior counsel needed to confer to take instructions. So they just went mute for maybe 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. We waited and they came back with instructions. So
That's how it's very nice. Good to know that.
Yeah, Miss Acharya did it before me in one matter. She was doing it. In fact, I caught her with the phone and I told her.
So I had to then tell the court that I'm taking instructions.
I said,
It happened before Justice Palli. And I would also like to say one thing that I forgot, but I'm taking it here. In fact, appearing before Justice Pratibha, we even got the bank guarantees verified through the bank from the bank managers on video conference.
Yes, you did. RG worked on it. I'm aware of it. Tara.
The next question, ma'am, is from an advocate, P.S. Deora. He mentions about rules governing video conferencing hearings. I think, ma'am, you said during the course of your talk that these are going to be in place soon. He then adds that for an effective hearing in the meanwhile, it will be good if the lawyers can be informed. What do the judges expect from the lawyers for as a way of effective? I think he says answers, but he means hearing. I mean, is there any expectations that the judges have from us lawyers?
Can I, for the rest of my colleagues and those who are not here physically, simple as that. Matters that come to us at this point in time are basically urgent. I'm not saying very urgent. I'm saying urgent enough to take a VC hearing. So firstly, I must request all the lawyers to make sure that their written submissions, as in the brief list and dates and events, is comprehensive. That will be the core place where the court will look at your facts, which need not be complicated, simple, the point involved, and what are the facts, that much. Secondly, please, if you would mute yourself while the other side is arguing, it makes life easier because there's a lot of echo otherwise. And that echo and that resonance creates a problem for us to understand the questions sometimes. Thirdly, if you would be waiting on time for the matter to start, the court master or anybody who's hosting the meeting can bring you in quickly. It also saves time. In VC hearings, I've noted sometimes this time is wasted because there's a gap between two matters to get the others on board. So everybody waits till the next matter is taken up, which is seamless when it is open court. We are getting used to it, so are you. But if you make that effort of being there on time, it will certainly help.
Mr. Jasman Singh, ma'am, we have about 10 or 12 questions. I hope that's okay.
Select some which you think there is time.
I am seeing
Right.
Yes, sir. There is a question from Mr. Jasman Singh who talks about lawyers who've returned back to their hometowns and have their requisite files in the offices in Delhi. So he's actually asking, will the courts be friendly? I think what he means is, will the courts be amenable to such a situation where some lawyers may not actually have their physical files? Any suggestions in that regard, ma'am?
Well, the president of the bar has also flagged this issue with us. You know that since I'm heading the committee which has been constituted by the Chief Justice, I can share with you, we are also looking at how and how soon we can give access to lawyers slowly and steadily and maintain social distancing for them to take things out of their chambers. We are aware of the difficulty many of you are facing. We are very conscious of it and we want to help as much as we can. But we had problems because of this lockdown being there. Obviously, you couldn't have come down to and open the chambers. But slowly, in the near future, we are going to work out a modality where we can maybe give access to lawyers by turns to their chambers to take out whatever they want. And as far as uniform is concerned, you know that even without the uniform, as long as you're formally dressed, we are not raising any questions as to why you are not. Some people genuinely have a problem. Those of us who have a uniform, we are wearing it. That's true for you, that's true for us. But some of them who don't, well, they're not, but they're formally dressed. Please, that will be good enough for us. Also, when you go to the court physically to conduct a VC hearing because of the lack of facility, we have relaxed the norm so that you don't have to wear a coat, a band, or a tie. The rest of the uniform remains the same as per the Advocates Act, but only the band, coat, and tie are dispensed with because that is something which you can't every day go back and wash and get iron daily to wear. To safeguard you and your health, the court has discarded that. So that will also be a matter of ease for you. Even after the courts open up, perhaps whenever they do, we can examine it again. It's a graded thing. We are doing it every day and evolving.
Yeah. There is a question on limitation, ma'am. I think it might be something which a lot is coming in a lot of people's minds. Gentlemen,
that has been dealt with by the Supreme Court pan India. The Supreme Court has already said that. Yes.
You know, because of the VC, say, I think what the person intends to say is because the VC hearing happened in the middle. Does that affect the limitation?
No, it doesn't. Let's be very clear. The Supreme Court has left no manner of doubt. Wherever limitation is expired or running, nobody will be adversely affected. The courts have gone to the point of saying wherever there are stays, they will continue. Wherever there are bail orders, they will continue until specifically modified or altered. There are situations which will need to be changed, but limitation is not an issue. Please throw it out of your mind and be rest assured that we will give all the window available to other lawyers so that there is no crowding, and at the same time, no litigant is adversely affected, and matters which have expired, limitations expired during this lockdown, will be entertained with a guideline. So be ready for the guidelines, but don't be concerned about that. We can assure you that is not the intention. We will do everything to cooperate and get things streamlined after the lockdown is recalled.
Anita Sani has a question about when courts start. If there's a possibility for mediation proceedings to start with an increased facility, then only one room.
Yeah.
As we have access, we have to access the phone. We have to access the phone to a number of parties instead of crowding the center.
Yes.
Parties can only be called. This is, I think, a lot of there's been articles about this. How now a lot of parties are preferring to go for mediation as opposed to filing.
So you'll be happy to know we have already flagged the issue, and not only mediation, we are also looking at arbitrations. Speaking for myself, I can share with you that I've spoken to the organizing secretary of mediation and requested her to highlight how they want to take matters further. And hopefully, since they have one Cisco platform, just as the High Court has, we will give the facility of sending emails to those parties who are willing to go in for mediation or continue mediation, which is pending, and fix X number of matters per day. Anita, be rest assured, we are working on it. Hopefully, she will hear something good very soon.
That's quite the first mediating. And the last question I'll take up from Mr. Ashwin Sapra. He says, would the courts accept a written synopsis or a list of dates or pleadings that contain hyperlinks to documents that are relied upon? So within our pleadings or written synopsis, we have a hyperlink. He says that would make accessing documents or relevant sections easier.
Pratika will answer that, please.
The hyperlinks can be made, it's very easy to create hyperlinks to documents. So within a pleading, if at some point courts feel that when we do the online filing, which is a system which is going to be in place shortly, providing of hyperlinks would be permissible, I think, because then a person can go from the document from the pleading straight to the document.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I think it's time for our...
Sorry, Tara, I can see a few questions from some, which includes what happens if the filing doesn't happen within 2 hours of getting permission to file. One of the questions that I can see is coming from maybe Aditi Gupta.
Aditi Gupta, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am, it seems because there are one or two which I'll just read it out again. So, there are one or two, ma'am, which have already been answered, so I skip it. I'll read Aditi Gupta's message. Thank you for pointing that out. When mentioning of a matter for listing is allowed, a part heard matter, a message is received by the council, the service and filing of proof of service. The same is to be done within 2 hours of the receipt of message. What happens if, due to lack of immediate internet facility, the lawyer is unable to serve within 2 hours? Does the mentioning which is allowed automatically expire? Is it okay as long as it is served the same day?
So the answer is that if you're not able to file it within 2 days, which means you'll file it later than 2 days, it will not be listed the very next day, it will be listed later, but it will not expire. So we rest assured. We understand the difficulty. Sometimes there is internet problem. You could have a genuine problem. To factor that in, it will not be listed the next day. You know, our court prides itself in saying that anything that is filed before 12:30 on a routine day will be listed the very next day. But we understand the difficulty. We are trying to follow that norm even today. But since the number of filing is increasing humongously, assuming you can't file it within 2 hours, it'll be listed the day after, but it will not as if it will be expired and you have to go through the whole process again. That is the answer. It's a critical question. I'm glad you asked that question.
In the meantime, we have 2 more questions. If you have the time, I'll bring them up. Ms. Archana Sachdeva wants to know, she says, ma'am, in a case before the lockdown, a matter was being heard finally. And if we are now able to obtain consent from the other side and make a request for final hearing, will the matter be taken up by the learned judge who is hearing the matter, or will it be placed before the designated roster bench?
Well, as of now, since we are not working as in a regular court or as per roster, if it's a part-heard matter, probably unless you want it to be released from part-heard, it won't be taken by any other judge. You know the procedure. But if it is not a part-heard matter, we have indicated to you at the consent request of both sides, the court is more than willing to take it. It will go to any judge who is available on a particular day to take up the matters. We are expanding the sittings also. You know that we are expanding the number of benches also. But let us not forget, there is a cutoff fixed by the government after 7 p.m. up to 7 p.m., 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. even after relaxation. So it can't be unending. So we'll take in matters, we'll expand it, but we certainly are going to hear final matters in a while, but not part-heard matters, unless both sides agree that it be released.
Meghna Mishra wants to know about, actually she says, please confirm that there is no ex parte hearing taking place as there is no caveat facility at the moment.
The moment advance copy served on the other side is put to notice. There is no system of caveat as of now.
We have a question. I think this is possibly for Kadambari and Nisha about joining and subscribing to the information of WIT. I would definitely like to be part of the organization. This is from Ms. Shalini Nair. I thought we could close with this question then.
Kadambari, take that one, please.
Yeah. You need to switch your mic on, Kadambari.
Kadambari, you're on mute.
And we didn't do it exactly. We didn't do it exactly. You muted yourself.
So I just wanted to inform everybody that we are working very hard on building the website where we will have an option for an interactive discussion. And there we will have the memberships, which were earlier also there, and now the new memberships. So we will also outline the benefits that we have, all the links that we are having, the seminars, even this particular, the recording of this particular webinar. We will put it up on our website for you to access. And we will be very open to suggestions from the young lawyers, both women and men, because we are inclusive, So you're most welcome to give suggestions to improve it further. Thank you.
One question that has come from Abha Sinha Tara, and it is important because it says, while e-filing counters have been opened in court complexes, there is no such provision in jail for inmates. And how is it addressed? I can share with you, and happily so, as the executive chairman of DLSA, that in all matters where anybody who is at this moment in jail wants to apply for interim bail, there are advocates who go to the jails and are going regularly. Any request received is entertained. Several applications have been filed in the district courts also for grant of bails, and similar exercise is happening in the High Court through the High Court Legal Services Authority. You will also be aware of the fact that at the initiative of the Supreme Court, the high-powered committee itself has taken steps to make sure that there is no the adequate social distancing maintained, and we have made norms where on the basis of social distancing and decongestion of jails, almost 3,000 inmates have been given bails. So to ensure that they are protected adequately for various reasons under various heads, as we have created by looking at the entire figures. So that is also taken care of. Inmates in jails have got their right to apply through the councils of the Delhi Legal Services Authority. It is going smoothly on that front too.
Ma'am, I think some maybe that question.
Share it with us. Any specific example, please share it. One will resolve it.
Thank you, ma'am. I think there may be some attendees sending questions directly. So if, ma'am, any of you have any other questions, because this is not on the general chat, it seems to have come individually. There's one other question on the chat, because it's not on the question and answer. It's talking about this, ma'am, it might be relevant. Can the same link, the meeting link, be used by multiple lawyers, junior and senior, and if possible, the client? Ms. Acharya, ma'am, ma'am, you're on mute.
Mute.
Use the same link between us and our standing councils. I think we also use it with the officials who come from the government, and it works.
Good.
Not used it,
right.
But we've not used it with any private clients. Usually we've used these links with very senior officials who sometimes attend the hearings, so that if we need their input at some stage, we can.
I would only add one word of caution here.
Yes, that's what.
Whenever we, as lawyers, we share a link with a particular person, make sure that that person does not misuse the content in any way.
Right.
One.
Right.
And should not record the content, number two. And number three, if they're going to participate in the video conference, they should declare it to the judge through the lawyer that so-and-so is also joining the hearing. So that the judge is aware that the person, even if there may be video and audio off, the judge is aware that the litigant is on the panel, so that it is not hidden from the judge.
We normally give their presence, and then the presence gets recorded.
That's the correct way to do it. That's the correct way.
We do it only where it is really important, but in that case, we tell the court master and we give his presence, we text it to him.
Ma'am, just a suggestion, in the rules, is there any provision stating that if you share the link with anybody, who is not supposed to be given the link, and the person creates a nuisance, then the lawyer, the concerned lawyer who's got the link will be responsible. I think that could be incorporated in the rules just to...
It is in the rules. VC rules will become public under the directions of the Supreme Court. All courts have been directed to make common VC rules will be uniform. And the Delhi High Court IT committee has done that. And once it is in public, all that will be taken care of. Today, we are contending with new things because we are coming up with new situations. All that will become old, hopefully, very soon, and we will be more streamlined when it comes to this VC hearings and VC rules.
One thing, taking from where Justice Pratibha Singh said, I totally agree with that. And as a lawyer, only with very senior government officials, we do that. I would not do it with the private clients so easily, normally. Yeah. And only in one or two cases where the court knows that they will be attending, we give their presence.
Right.
Normally, we have made a rule for ourselves in 99.9%. It is only the briefing council and the arguing council.
Right. That's right.
In that case, we get two separate links.
Right.
For the briefing council and for the arguing council from the court.
Right. So I think that answers almost all questions, Tara.
There's a last suggestion, if we can take it up, that is suggesting the IT committee may consider insisting on all lawyers registering their email IDs, like and phone numbers with the court, so no lawyer may be able to avoid service or state that he was not served.
Right, right.
So this is something which, ma'am, which does happen very often. You may not get a red receipt, or you may not. They just don't answer the call.
Answer the call.
I've noticed it.
There is a difficulty, but they're also exposing themselves in a situation, because then tomorrow they can't say that they were not participating in the hearings when they're aware of it. fallout. It's a negative fallout for them. If they want to, we're willing to go for that. Yes.
But receipt of an email is a service.
Yeah. Yes, it is a service.
And to be more cautious, you can send a message also that the mail has been sent to you.
Right, or a WhatsApp. As on date, we are using technology to the hilt. So please use whatever is available to communicate it to the other side, and the court is taking note of it. But service, etc., is also part of the VC rules, which will come out soon.
Questions over? Are there any more questions?
I can hand you back, hand stage
So,
back.
Tara, I was handing it to you to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Justice Kohli, Justice Pratibha Singh. I think a lot has been explained by the two of you. Justice Palli, you told us about your insights and specific things, which is very interesting. Ms. Maninder Acharya, I'm hearing about whatever your experiences are, and also given some of us who had not had so many VC hearings or any at all, how to go about things. This, thank you, Kadambari, for video. I think possibly we could end by playing it again. I don't know if we could all see
Yes.
it. And because, but what I'd like to say is that we have. We've got this, we've got a lot of requests, as Kadambari mentioned. We post this again. I think a lot of people do want that presentation. They want to hear what has been said. Some people couldn't log in. I got a lot of messages right in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, all that aside, I think it's been a very seamless event. And thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much to all our judges and our guests.
Thank you.
Giving us so much time.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you
a
very much.
real honor. And God bless all of you. Thank you.